Hello everyone, my name is Vipers from Vipers TCG, and I hope you're having a good day today. Yes, this isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering or anything like that. This is Disney Lorcana. Yes, this is from the first chapter into the Inklands era of the game, so it is pretty old, and this is beginner friendly. Let's find out if the game is. I've had a little look, I've done a little bit of research online. I'm not too familiar with this. I did end up buying this for my wife to see whether because I was getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! I thought it might be cool for her to get into Lorcana. So we decided to pick up a few things. We got a couple of decks, a couple of these booster packs, just to crack into. Now, one thing I do like, and I know it's something that Pokemon does as well, they put the thingy on the side, the deck, what's actually in the deck, and give you some examples there, and it also shows you what typing this deck is. So if you don't know, very similar to Magic the Gathering, Disney Lorcana has a couple of different, let's just call them typing. So in this we have Emerald and Ruby. So then I think there's 6. They're all based around sort of different gems. This is the first deck, which was Cruella de Vil and Aladdin, and then this is the Into the England's booster pack, which we'll go over once I've looked at this deck. So with any sort of product you're looking to get into, I would always recommend the first thing, one of the first things you should be buying is indeed one of the base structure decks that they will provide you. It will have everything you need in it. It will also give you a rule explanation, and if that doesn't suffice, there are obviously plenty of videos online you can go to. I personally watched 2, probably spent about 20 minutes watching them, and I understand the game, how it's played, how it works. So in that terms, yes, I do have TCG experience, so it may be quicker for me to pick up than it is for others. However, it doesn't seem overly complicated. So without further ado, we will open this box again, because it's already opened. And we will show you what you get. So in here, I don't know if it'll be the same still or not, you get this beautiful little display. And obviously your deck probably will be wrapped at the time this has been opened, so you won't be so you can lose cards like this. However, one thing that I did get, which I thought was absolutely amazing, was a booster pack. I bought a deck and they gave me a booster pack. Now, this isn't something I've added in, and this is actually on the back. If you look at the contents here, you get 1 starter deck of 60 cards, including 2 foil cards, 11 damage counters, 1 paper player mat, 1 paper track token, game rules, plus 1 booster pack of 12 randomized cards. That's pretty cool. Obviously, it did mention a couple of other things here. So, as standard, you have the quick start rule guide, which does a very good job. I want to quickly show this. As you can see, you got your 4 page and 5 pages, double-sided. Wadoosh. Very nice, very cool. Gives a brief explanation. The counters are built here. This is your lore tracker. This is how you can keep up to date with where you are. Now, you might be wondering, what lore am I tracking? Let me show you the playmat, because this is the one that confuses me constantly. It's just the sheer size of it. This is it. This is the playmat. That literally, I'm not kidding. Let me just turn it sideways so you can get the full view. I'm not missing anything off because it's double-sided, which I think is pretty nice. Personally, I would probably be playing this way because this is how I'm used to having my graveyard and cards, rather than this way. But yeah, the objective of the game is to get to your lore counter of 20. That's how you win. There is a deck, there is a discard, cards in play, and as we all know too well, with a lot of modern TCGs, they don't do it like Yu-Gi-Oh! They do it with mana, and mana in this game is called your Inkwell. Now, that might seem like a lot to take in the grand scheme of things. I get where you're coming from, but I can assure you it isn't. Lorcana has 3 types of cards. They have the monsters, which I'm going to put into 2 categories if it's going to let me. Yeah, so we'll put them 2. There is, well, that's an action card. I can't use that one. However, actually, no, I can use that one. So we got an action card and an item card. Do I have any? Yes. Okay, there's the other one. Perfect. So, as you can see, these are the sort of, well, leave that aside, the 3 types of cards you will have. So for me, I've got the Cruella de Vil starter deck. So I have Cruella de Vil. And pretty standard, as any TCG player will be aware of. You have your mana cost in the top corner. You have your strength and weakness here. And then the name of the card. Now, one thing I do kind of like about this is the way they've done the characters. So in any deck, you're allowed copies of one card 4 times. So I could run 4 of this. However, if I had Cruella de Vil, the Dalmatian Stealer, or whatever they may call another copy, I can then play 4 copies of that as well, as it's a different card. It might have a different mana cost. It might have many other things. Since this is the Aladdin deck, let me see if I've got an example with Aladdin. Probably not, but you know, it's worth a check. It's always worth a little check. Yeah, there we go. So, perfect example. This deck here runs 2 Aladdins. You've got Aladdin Heroic Outlaw and then Aladdin Street Rat. These, as you can see, have 2 different mana costs, 2 different strength and weakness values, and 2 different card abilities in them as well. So I could run 4 of each of these if I wanted to. I think it's a pretty nice little feature. It's a nice way they do it. It just adds a little bit more to the game rather than, sorry, you can run 4 Aladdins and that's it. And obviously, after that, as I mentioned before, we have the ability text. So for Cruella de Vil, her ability is You'll Be Sorry. When this character is challenged and banished, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. And now you may be looking at this weird little triangle over there and wonder what that means. Don't worry, I will be getting to that a little bit later. You then have item cards. So these are obviously like, I think more like your equips, but turn-based. So for instance, this is cost for a tap, as you can see. Let's bring that a little bit closer to the camera. There you go, we got a little tap symbol, which I'll explain in a second. Chosen character gets +1 strength this turn. So Cruella, as you can see, she's got that weird little cog thing here. That's the strength. So playing Stolen Scimitar will give it an extra +1 strength this turn. If a character named Aladdin is chosen, he gets +2 instead. And that's obviously for this turn. After that turn, it would no longer take effect. And the last one is the action card. A character with cost 3 or more can tap to sing this song for free. Return chosen character to their player's hand. I don't quite know what songs are, I'm not going to lie, but what they do that I like is they do use a lot of keywords in their game, which I think is pretty good. I'm always a big fan of keywords. I don't like the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Does it with just absolutely spamming text on a card. I don't mind explaining it. However, going absolutely over the top is, for me, it's just not needed. And it does end up taking away from the game quite a little bit, in my honest opinion, having all that text on a card. Now, as you can see here on screen, there are 2 cards. Both monster cards, both different. I'm going to give it a second. I'm going to see if people can figure out what the main difference is between these 2. Now, I know you're probably looking at it and you can probably already tell. So if you can, fantastic. I'll bring them closer in a second. I want to give people another minute just to have a look at them. Both monster cards. It's not the little diamond thing on the right hand side of the card. Nope. The difference between these 2 cards is the icon in the top left. And no, I'm not referencing the number in the top left. What I'm on about is, as you can see, this one has a beautiful, I mean, I probably shouldn't be using a foil card because it's really hard to see. But let me, you're also foil, we'll use this one instead. We'll move the 2 foil cards out that I got. There we go, better. So you see how these are both creatures with their typings here. You can see it's a Dreamborn Hero Princess and a Storyborn Hero Prince. And there you go, that's the typings there. However, this icon in the top, that is hugely important when it comes to this game. One of these cards can be added to your Inkwell. One of them cannot. Now, adding to your Inkwell is basically mana. So, as you can probably guess at this point, this one can be added to your mana for the game, which you will draw and you will place face down in your Inkwell zone. And as we've seen before, there was a tap, just like magic. Any card can be put down there as long as it's got this symbol on it, which, as you've seen in my deck, was quite a lot of the cards. However, that being said, you don't need to have green Aladdin to play a green Aladdin. I could play, let's say I had 6 green mana, I would tap for 6 and I can play my Rapunzel. It isn't colour dependent like Magic the Gathering is, which I kind of really like about this game, and I actually gained a lot of points in my opinion. Obviously, it does follow I know I use Magic a lot, but it is the closest we've got to it in the sense of how the game's played. Each card, as you can see here, has an ability. So let me just put all these cards back in there and we'll go through and we'll try and find some that we can go through together and I can explain as we go along. So we'll start off with maybe not Cruella de Vil, we've already gone over that. There we go. Perfect. So Shiv 5, you pay 5 to play this on top of one of your characters named Aladdin. Then expert during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you gain 2 lore and opponent loses 2 lore. Huge. So lore is earned in this game by tapping cards. So Cruella de Vil can go on a quest, as they call it. That will then take me from 1 to 2. This Aladdin can go on a quest. Let's say I'm on 1 again. I tap it. I'm now on 3. Now, the difference between these cards, this time it is these little weird diamond drop thingies, whatever you want to call them. They are what indicates how much you'll be getting each time it's sent on a quest. Now, when a card's sent on a quest, as you've seen, I did tap it. That means it can't do anything else. It can't attack, but it can be attacked. Let's say I'm playing someone and they have Duke of Westerton. For whatever reason, they've sent it on a quest to try and gain that 1 mana. And I have Horace. Hi, Horace. Because the card is tapped, I can swing at it with my Horace. So I can tap my Horace to say, I'm going to attack your card. Boom. Card's gone to the discard pile. Now, let's say the same situation, but their card's not tapped this time. Their card is just sat there chilling. I can't attack it. I can send my Horace on a quest, and then obviously if they wanted to, they could swing into me and deal 2 damage and get rid of their own card because Horace still deals 4 damage. However, one of the things that you do need to be aware of is damage carries over. Unlike Magic the Gathering, where at the end of the damage step, if you did not destroy my 30/30 creature, whatever it may be, it stays there. This card does not. It is very similar. I mean, if it is something you're looking at getting into, or getting kids into, family, friends, whoever it may be, watch a couple of videos online. I'll say no more than half an hour to get a gist of how to play the game. It's not that complicated in the grand scheme of things. I have basically just quickly summarized the rules of how to play it, how the cards work. Obviously, each one will have its own text. So there's action whenever one of your characters' quest is turned. Each opponent loses 1 lore because it can be played one-on-one. It can be played against 3 other players, 5 other players. It's just whoever gets to 21st. Evasiveness characters can only characters with evasiveness can challenge this character. Let me bring that closer in focus. So they've come down the magic route, which I'm a big fan of, and I think it works very well. Now, in terms of expanding your deck, it's always going to be booster packs. Booster packs are always going to be the way to do it. And as you can see here, this is from the first chapter. This one came with the deck. So we have Maleficent. We've got another Aladdin Street Rat, Minnie Mouse, Jet Sam, Horace, Goons, Eye of the Fates item card, Maximus, Smash, that's another action card, a Lantern, which is an item, a Hans, which is another creature, and then I got a foil Peter Pan, which I think is pretty cool. Love the Peter Pan, so that was kind of off the screen there. And then I get this weird little art card where I'm presuming you put them all together and you get a nice little picture, which I think this is incredible that they've included this with the deck. Unfortunately, I can't quite remember pricing on the Lorcana cards and decks and stuff at the moment. However, I think as far as structured decks and new player experiences go, this for me is definitely up there with everything you get. You're getting a pack relating to the deck, if they still do that, by the way. You're getting a playmat, which isn't restricted by space, by the way, because as you've seen there, you've got to get to 20. There are cards in there that will take that away from you, from your opponent. So these games could potentially go on a while. So there are ways to give and take them, which I like, and therefore, obviously, games can get out of hand pretty quickly. They could certainly expand onto big boards, and they've kind of prepared for that by giving you this massive playmat for it. We'll look at this now. This just standard little booster pack here. Obviously, I've had these for a while now, as you can probably guess by the set name, especially if you know Lorcana. And then this, cool. Into the Inklands added a new ability. And in this pack, they have given a description of what that means. Absolutely love that. That is a huge thing. If you're not into TCGs, or you're looking at this because of a family member or a friend or whatever has suggested you this is phenomenal. Most trading card games, you've got to find out from an online forum or their website or whatever however they want to publicize. No one ever puts it in packs. People always buy packs, but they never put the rule changes in packs, and I've got to respect them for that. So you can see here, each pack is the same. I think it's 12 cards again, was it? Yeah, 12 additional cards. So you get 12 cards per pack, which you can't really complain about. Obviously, I've got Nottingham, Prince John's Castle, which is a location, which is a new card. I'm presuming it functions similar from what I can say. I'd have to presume there would have been something new about it brought out. Got 99 Puppies action card, Scrooge's Top Hat, Lithios, Mama Udi, got a Piglet, and then Olympus would be that way, which I think is a pretty cool card, which is an action card. Your character get +3 while challenging a location this turn. And then, oh, there you go. Speak of the devil, I don't know what it does. Let's find out together what these location cards do. New into the Inklands, locations are glimmers that are played and go on the table in front of you, just like characters. And items, only special location rules are explained here. So some locations give you benefits, some give you lore, and some debuff. And of course, other cards have different types and abilities. So obviously you got gaining lore, moving characters, blah, 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 blah. So you can see here, ink cost, move cost, willpower, ability, and lore value. So if a location has the inkwell icon around the cost, it can be put into your inkwell. Obviously, we already knew that. The rules for playing locations are the same as characters and items. You can play locations anytime during your turn by paying its ink cost and putting it into play in front of you. At the start of your turn, gain lore equal to the lore value on the locations you have in play. Note that it's not questing, which only characters can do. Oh, sorry, that was off the screen. My apologies. I'm not even very good with this video. During your turn, you can move one of your characters to one of your locations by paying the location move cost. Your characters can only move to your locations. A character can move to a location the same turn either one is played. It doesn't matter if the character is being moved is exerted already. There is no limit to a number of characters who can be at a location at a time. Characters can move from a location except to move to another location. You can do this by paying the other location move cost. Opposing characters may challenge a location the same way they challenge an exerted character. The challenge's ability still applies. A challenge location takes damage equal to the challenge's character strength rating, but doesn't deal damage. Locations can also take damage from some actions and abilities, but can't be chosen for them unless the text says they can. When the location damage reaches willpower, it's banished and you put the card in your discard pile. Characters at that location are fine, they're just no longer at that location. And obviously, it's on about abilities. Also, using Glenn's ability to move damage counters from one character or location to another. Moving damage, does it count as dealing damage or damaging the character's location, revealing the damage counters effects that modify the amount of damage doesn't apply to be moved. So there we go. We had a new card in this pack, and I didn't know what it did. Now I understand I can put characters on it. I'm presuming there's going to be other cards in here that maybe it stops my characters from being attacked while they're in there. Maybe it just adds extra defense or attack points while they're there. And this is just a 6 defender, 2 mana, 1 movement cost. Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is Lorcana a difficult game? It's probably a lot more difficult now than it was when these sets came out, because I say these are some of the very first sets that were ever produced, which is pretty good. In reality, I'd put it on par with other TCGs. I don't think there's anything exceptionally difficult about it. I don't think there's anything that makes me go, oh yeah, no, my child can pick this up and play. There are different typings, as you saw, and the best way to do this is use the back of the card. So, as you can see here, we have a yellow, a grey, and a purple. They are the different archetype colours. That's how you know which one each belongs to. For as you see, this is the Emerald and Ruby deck, as we've already covered. Cruella de Vil is green, Aladdin is red. It seems pretty simplistic. It is something I need to have a few games of to fully understand. But as I say, from watching 20 minutes of people playing the game, I've been able to pick it up. People explain it to me in 20 minutes. Yeah, I think it is something definitely cutesy. If you've got people who you want to get into trading card games, or they're not quite there. They don't like the look of the Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh. You know they're probably going to be into Disney. Get them a deck or two. Unfortunately, they don't do what Magic does, which is a 2-player structure deck, which is something I wish a lot of card games would do. However, they do single ones. It is a 60-card deck. It already comes ready to play. You've got your mats, you've got your counters. There's nothing else that you would need to play this game. I believe there is an official Lorcana app if you'd rather use that for keeping track of the quest counters rather than the paper mat. But yeah, realistically, this is very, very easy to pick up. If you've played a TCG, you'll know what you're doing with this. It's nothing too difficult. It does what it says on the tin. It's a 60-player starter deck, 12 cards in a pack. I think you're guaranteed to get at least one foil. But yeah, no, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Stick around. Do you know what? I'm going to do it again. We're going to have a little sneak peek at the next episode. I think that's the best way to do it. Look at that. We'll leave that right there. So I'm going to go over that. I do have more experience with this one, actually. I actually know what I'm on about. I have played this one, and I used to play it fairly regularly back in the day. So we'll go over, is it easy to play in the next one? But for now, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and stick around for the next one. Until then, I will catch you all later.